we're going to discuss product management and also how technology can impact it. Product management said it's a pretty sexy career field. It involves a lot of skills, a lot of thinking, and it looks like those who are involved in it probably have a bright future ahead of them. So how can technology make it more productive? Let's talk to Olabanji Ewenla, who of course is the co-founder and CEO of Enoverlab, and he joins us now to discuss what apparently he's trained a community of about 20,000 people across different platforms. And you've built a community of over 20,000 people, trained about 1,500 of them. You're very welcome. Thanks so much for joining us. So,
thank you.
What is project management? Is it like consulting? What is it?
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Rutus. It's a pleasure to be on the show. So product management is the process of leading the development and delivery of technology products, specifically digital products like mobile applications, software as a service, hardware solutions like our smartphones, smartwatches. So as product managers, we are the ones that manage the technical team. That's the software developers, the UI UX designers, to then build these digital products.
Fantastic. And as far as the type of skills that you need to be effective in this field, what are they?
Specifically, we would say product skills, right? There's something we call product skills. So these are like specific product management skills that every product manager needs to have to be able to like manage the technical team. But aside from like technical or product skills, we'd have like communication, emotional intelligence, and then specifically leadership, because you'll be leading technical teams.
Is it a fulfilling career field?
Oh, yes, it is.
Yeah, you would say that, wouldn't you?
Oh, yes, it is. It's really fulfilling, especially because as a product manager, you are involved in solving problems.
Yeah.
The core of everything we're doing as product managers is to solve problems. So, for example, if there are issues within the, let's say I work in the logistics space, right? So my job is to ensure that all our solutions, right, are making it easier for people to, book logistics, have their products and services delivered, make it easier to, get their solutions delivered to them.
You've picked a challenging area, considering logistics in Nigeria and the roads and traffic.
Though my company is not based in Nigeria, to be precise. So I work with Dashout. Dashout is based in Texas in the US.
I went to school in Texas, so nice one.
Amazing.
Right. So, as far as technology enhancing this particular field, how does that dynamic work out?
So, because as a product manager, or in product management to be precise, right, it's a technology skill on its own.
On its own.
Right. It's just that it's a non-technical technology skill.
Okay.
So it means as a product manager, I don't need to know how to code. I don't need to know how to do programming, right? So, but instead, it's a role that requires somebody, I would say, sort of managing people. So because the developers, they are the ones that are doing the coding and programming.
Right.
The UI UX designers are the ones doing the design of the products. The data analysis are reading the data, managing the data. So we product managers are like the middleman in the middle of everything to sort of bring the holistic team together in a way whereby we're able to manage the team to deliver the value.
Can you be replaced by artificial intelligence? It's all the rave, all the hype. Does it have any role in this field? Because again, you're using a human being to oversee what's going on from the developers and everybody else. So where does AI play a role in all this?
I think AI will support product managers, not necessarily take them away. Because it's a creative role. It's not something that is like you can just crunch data and say, because AI is really powered by data. Right, and so there's a number of things that require human creativity to make it work. Now, you've mentioned creativity. Can creativity be taught? Because you've trained people, and I guess you've had an impact on their careers and so on. What's the explain the training. Can you actually impart this thing onto another individual? Creativity in itself, I think there is a part to play in terms of influence.
Right.
However, I would say that, so we focus more on training people on the skill set itself. So, they're like specific skill sets. So, you're supposed to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, So having the specific skill set, that's what we sort of focus on. And then creativity would then be channeled by individuals, because I wouldn't say like we can sort of pass creativity, but I would say if we teach them, take this step, and they're able to replicate or duplicate this step, it's always easier to become a product manager.
Okay, so check this now. Does this make the jackpot situation worse, or does it reduce it to the point to where, because these roles, can they be remote?
Oh, yes.
All right.
I've been working remotely.
Thank you, because your company is in Texas, right?
Yes.
So what's the impact on this on the jackpot thing, based on what
It's a two-way thing, I would say, right? I would say, one, I think it would impact because obviously there is better opportunities to
Overseas.
a certain degree overseas, right? And then you get to earn in dollars, and it's a little bit more higher in context of what product managers can earn. However, I would also say one of the things that we're trying to do is to solve our local challenges. So one of the things we're trying to encourage is to encourage people solve Nigerian problems, right? African-related problems. So it's a two-way thing, I would say. I would say, it makes it easier for somebody to relocate because then you can be able to get a job outside of Nigeria and work for international companies. While some people get a job living in Nigeria like myself and then working for international companies remotely right in Nigeria. So it's a two-way thing.
Which I mean, okay, because if you are, and look, I've been talking to a lot of people who want to leave the country, and I always tell them, at least secure a job before you exit, right? But does it not make more sense to be earning foreign exchange while you live here? You're not taxed as much as you would if you're overseas. Well, talk to the youngsters who it's Friday, on Monday they're catching a flight, they want to leave the country because they think everything's horrible. But what's the strategy here? Don't you make sure your skills are up to date? Because everybody's online now, you can search for a job in Lagos while you're...
True.
Right, so what's your take on it?
Interestingly, Will, in our community, we had this conversation just on Sunday.
Yeah.
Right? We posted a poll and we said, what would it take if you earn £7,000 living in Nigeria, working remotely, or would you like to relocate to the UK to earn the same £7,000, right? And we had a lot of back and forth, but a lot of people said they would prefer to stay in Nigeria to earn the same £7,000 instead of relocating to the UK to earn the same £7,000.
Yeah.
So what's my opinion? My opinion would be, being that's what I've done, right? I would say you should stay here and earn the same money, right? Earning from foreign currency, earning the same money here in Nigeria, because obviously there's no place like home.
Right.
I know there are so many issues, everybody complain about economy, government and all of that, but there's just no place like home. So it makes more sense to be here because I am of the opinion that we can contribute our quota to make the country better. No matter how crazy things might seem and sound, I still believe that we can play our parts, especially as young people under the age of 35. We have a lot of part to play in the economy and how things are happening in Nigeria. And because the nature of the product management role, which is really to solve problems and to make things easier for people, I also think that staying here would be beneficial in the long term, right, to anybody, especially if you're now making your money from outside the country and then living here in Nigeria.
Right. Look, I love talking to young people. We had a young guy earlier, he's in this renewable energy space, you're in the product management space. But we have a jobs issue. We have a youth problem, massive gap. Before the Bureau of Statistics did their little rejigging to where unemployment is 5%. Before that, youth unemployment, as far as the numbers are concerned, double digits. So how do we solve that? Is it private sector folks like you training people? The government has a role. How do we close this youth jobs gap?
I do think it's going to be a mixture of both. Right. Right now, I would say I would want to sort of pass a comment in context of, I think the government is trying, especially because the current needs that I'm trying to remember the ministry, Honorable Minister Bosun Tijani, I think he's doing an incredible job. Maybe just trying to reach the grassroots might be the major challenge. I think, but at the high level, I think they're doing an incredible job. But it's going to be a mixture of both private and public sector. I don't think the private sector can do it alone. We'll need the support of the government at a high level to sort of create an enabling environment to make it easy to work for private sectors. Because another challenge is even for people who are trying to build startups, because it's the startups that will hire the talents, right? The developers, the designers, the product managers, right? So these are the startups. One of the challenges many startups have, especially in Nigeria, especially in Lagos, where we are right now, is finding funds, raising funds. It is some of the economic realities. I remember trying to work on some products in 2021. Was very similar to wanted to build like a ride-hailing solution, like a local ride-hailing solution, instead of having an Uber and a boat, right? And I remember going to the Lagos State Ministry of Government, Ministry of Transportation, right, to find out informations, and the requirements were simply a lot.
Too high,
right? It was too a lot, and so it sort of killed that idea because we really had a passion to want to solve the challenges locally because we felt like Uber was not doing enough or boats was not doing enough, and we were here, we understand the challenges of moving in Lagos and all of that, but the requirements was just a lot out of our reach. And as a small startup, it was not something we could reach out to. So I would say it's a combination of both private and public sector, sort of syncing together.
Yeah.
The government at a high level, and then the private sector at more or less like a grassroots level, sort of pushing things forward.
Olabanji Ewenla, co-founder, CEO, Enoverlab. Thank you so much for talking to us. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, man.